Hey everyone, it's Triple Mango Threat or Ashley, and today we're talking about not only propaganda, but the cards that do the same thing or even better. So let's jump right into it. So propaganda costs 2 and a blue and it's an enchantment. Creatures can't attack you unless their controller pays 2 mana for each creature they control that's attacking you. I would personally say this is a popular commander card and more likely to be in a casual pod than a competitive one. Now this effect can be done in white, and when I say effect I mean the propaganda effect, which means paying 2 mana for each creature that's attacking you. So let's talk about Ghostly Prison. This is the same as propaganda with the mana cost, and it's still 2 mana for each creature, but it's in white. With the color pie theory, this makes total sense, but what doesn't make sense is green and black are getting a similar effect, so let me explain. We have Elephant Grass for 1 green mana. It's an enchantment with cumulative upkeep of 1. So this means at the beginning of your upkeep, put an age counter on this permanent. Then sacrifice it unless you pay its upkeep cost for each age counter on it. Black creatures can't attack you, and non-black creatures can't attack you unless their controller pays 2 mana for each creature they control that's attacking you. And there's also Kuskan Falls for 2 and 2 black. At the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice Kuskan Falls unless you tap an untapped creature you control. Creatures can't attack you unless their controller pays 2 mana for each creature they control that's attacking you. This is an odd occurrence, but they exist, so Elephant Grass could work in an Enchantress deck, or even in Muldrotha. Since it has that cumulative upkeep of 1 mana, we don't have to pay that with Muldrotha. Instead, we can pay a green mana if it's in our graveyard, and we can use that as our enchantment that turn when casting it. Kuskan Falls cost 4 mana, which could deter you from playing this because, let's face it, propaganda is 3 mana and some players think it isn't good. So paying 4 mana can seem very bad. But it's in black, and if you're not playing blue or white in your deck, you don't have as much access to the propaganda effect. So back to white, it has the most propaganda effects in the selection. Archangel of Tithes for 1 white, it's a 3/5 angel with flying. As long as Archangel of Tithes is untapped, creatures can't attack you or planeswalkers you control unless their controller pays 1 mana for each of those creatures. As long as Archangel of Tithes is attacking, creatures can't block unless their controller pays 1 mana for each of those creatures. This is a very powerful card, even if it says 1 mana for each creature trying to attack us. The second part is whenever this creature is attacking, our opponent now has to pay 1 mana for each of those creatures that block. That can be a very difficult task to accomplish. Usually opponents don't have open mana, or that's the hope anyways, so this is a very powerful creature. Archon of Absolution for 3 and a white, it's a 3/2 Archon with flying. It has protection from white, which means this creature can't be blocked, targeted, dealt damage, enchanted, or equipped by anything that's white. Creatures can't attack you or planeswalkers you control unless their controller pays 1 mana for each of those creatures. So we have a creature that's protected by white and also a smaller effect of the propaganda. Baird Steward of Argive for 2 white, it's a 2/4 human soldier with vigilance, and it does the same thing as propaganda but only for 1 mana. So you could have a commander that gives you a small propaganda effect. Windborn Muse is another common one in commander. For 3 and a white, it's a 2/3 spirit with flying, and it gives the exact propaganda effect. Next, we're talking about Norn's Annex for 3 and 2 Phyrexian white mana symbols. So what that means is that we can pay white mana or 2 life when paying for 1 symbol. Creatures can't attack you or planeswalkers you control unless their controller pays the Phyrexian white mana for each of those creatures. So if our opponents can't pay white mana, they have to lose 2 life for how many creatures are attacking us. This can be really cool, but more than likely they'll find a way to attack with a small amount of creatures and still kill us, but it's nice to see a different kind of propaganda effect. The last white card I want to mention is Sphere of Safety, which is probably my favorite out of all of the white options. So for 4 and a white, we have an enchantment that says creatures can't attack you or planeswalkers you control unless their controller pays X for each of those creatures, where X is the number of enchantments you control. If this is in your enchantment deck, then you are going to have a crazy amount of mana that your opponents are going to have to pay per creature, and that can be a great way to help you last a little bit longer in the game. But imagine our opponent having to pay 5 mana to attack with one of their creatures when they need that 5 mana to ramp or draw some cards. This will really deter them from attacking us, or it's going to be likely removed from one of our opponents. And the last card I want to talk about is Collective Restraint. This is an enchantment that costs 3 and a blue, and it has Domain, which says creatures can't attack you unless their controller pays X for each creature they control that's attacking you, where X is the number of basic land types among lands you control. So if you're in a 5-color deck and you play this and you happen to have Plains, Island, Swamp, all the 5 types, your opponents will have to pay 5 mana for each creature attacking you. So I would really recommend this at least 4 color or more, maybe 3 color if it really works with your deck. Because again, we're paying 4 mana rather than the 3, and that already has our opponents paying 2 mana for each creature. So if we're in a 2 color deck and we're paying 4 mana for this effect, it may not seem that great. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you found some cards that you may have not heard of. And if you want to purchase those cards, you can use the TCG link down below to help support the channel whenever you purchase these cards. And it's going to cost you no extra when you buy them. Thank you to the patrons who help support this show. And you can also become a patron to see your name at the end of these videos. And you get exclusive rewards when you do so. Be sure to comment down below and subscribe for more Mango content. And I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.